Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we can celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, welcome back to Hermit Haven. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Ashley. We're so excited to have you this week. We are going to be chatting about the comfort trap. Why playing safe is keeping you stuck. I think this is such a good one because I feel like so many times we just do what is comfortable because it's easy, and easy is safe. Easy is easy, obviously. Like, why would I want to go do something harder? Or why would I want to challenge myself to grow into do more, like why would I want to take on more responsibilities?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of women they don't believe that they should have more sometimes, and so they get kind of trapped, the comfortable, but a lot of the times it's like comfortably uncomfortable. Like you're not really comfortable, but you've just been doing it for so long. Like sometimes with, when I was younger, like relationships and stuff, you kind of just get comfortable and you're like, well, like I don't know that this is like the right place I should be, but also kind of comfortable. So like you kind of just stick around. Happens in jobs, it happens in, friendships, relationships, things like that. Like you kind of just you're not comfortable, but it's too much to like end it or change it, and so you kind of just keep going with it.
Or we
And
like gaslight ourselves to think the benefits are enough.
yeah, exactly. And or that you can't get better, that you can't have more. Like that happened for me. That happened a lot. Like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to get a better job or more money or whatever, so like I'll just hang out where I'm at. And if you love where you're at, then perfect, but there's still ways you can grow within where you're at. Always there's always more to learn and more to grow and more to do, like it can always get better. And that's kind of what this episode is about trying to talk through, how to want more and get there.
I think I think besides wanting more, I think it's having the realization that this does happen. I think so many times we don't realize it because we're not living life intentionally because it's easier to go in autopilot. So we don't even realize that there is a more sometimes. Like this, concept of more comes from a desire from the realization that there is a desire to have, something else than what you already currently have. And sometimes what you currently have feels good enough because we've, sometime, someplace, right? There's that glass ceiling that was like put on you that was like, oh, you can't have more, or whatever the reason possibly may be. And so then it's breaking that glass ceiling and realizing, like, hey, I want more. How do I even accomplish that? And then that's sometimes the tricky part too, right? We're like, okay, what is more even, right? Is more this like crazy change where like my whole life is going to change? Or is it just like picking up one extra habit by waking up like 10 minutes early or something and, making time for it? Or, when, how many times like when we're like, oh, this isn't working, but then we just keep doing it? That's
Hmm.
this topic too, right? Like this isn't working, but we just keep doing it. So then why are we still doing it?
Yeah, when I started 2026, I wrote down new identities that I wanted to have. Not even new, but just maybe like upgraded, I would say, identities to what I
Mhm.
was more intentional, just like you said, being more intentional about who I wanted to be. And my one of my words for this year was limitless, because I just felt like I do limit myself all the time. I do, we all do it, but I definitely do it. And I just wanted a year where I was like, no, I'm going to push past limits that I had. And it's within areas that I choose. I'm like, we're not saying like go out there and just like go crazy and just, do all the things. Like pick the goals that you have and know that wherever you think your limit is, like that's not it. It's
Yeah.
way way higher than that. Like you can do everything. And if you believe in God, like God can do anything. So really the sky is the limit. And that's just something that I've been really working on. And you'll know like instinctually, like, is this something I need to push further, or is this something that isn't aligned at all and I need to like, go sideways to something else and then keep pushing? Like that's also something that I've realized in the just the few months that we've had of the year, like, oh, maybe this isn't what I really wanted, but this is what I wanted, so let's keep pushing, there.
Is this the part where I add the thing about seasons in and be like, maybe, when you are in that season of like doubting yourself or feeling like overwhelmed or feeling like, hey, I can't get everything done, instead of like just accepting like this is just what it is now, like this is the normal, this is when you like have to realize that like this is just a season, push past this. So I need to figure out how can I get to the next stage and the next step, right? Is that what habits maybe am I doing that are creating this like negative spiral almost that I feel this way? Because sometimes that's all it is just one negative habit that you're doing, and then another negative habit, and then a negative habit, right? Jackie and I were talking about this the other day, how we both really want to get off our phones. And so Jackie was saying she put her phone in the closet. I don't know if I ever responded to Jackie with this, but I'm responding now. But the other day I just like left my phone like somewhere randomly in like another room that was like nearby. So like it was there in case I needed it, but like it wasn't there. So like we're both, and again, our phone's not a bad thing. We talk about this all the time, right? We talk about phones all the time because phones could be bad, right? We can go down that negative spiral, and then we can feel limitless on our phone too, right? You're like, oh, I'm never gonna do anything on my phone but like scroll. And that's not true, right? We can use our phones to journal. We can read our phones to for books. We can use our phones for Sudoku. We can read our phones for like word searches. So you could take something you're doing and change it around, but that has to come from your realization that, hey, this isn't working and it's okay. I think there's two truths here, right? This isn't working, but maybe it worked before. And that might be another truth in that sentence. And sometimes that's a hard one to like, I don't know, grasp like, hey, something was working before and now this isn't working.
Yep.
And sometimes that's where it comes from too, is we're so stuck in what was working that we don't want to accept that there is possibly something that could work better.
Yep. Yep. And I don't want to insert my nerdiness on like every single episode, but I changed up how I was like doing my planner, my journal, and I've literally never been more excited ever to use it's a planner and a journal. I like put everything in there. I put affirmations. I put literally whatever I want. I draw in there in watercolor. It's like a little tiny book. It's small. I can bring it with me. But I've been like using it every single day. Every single day, every week. I've been on my habits because I have a little habit tracker in there for every single week. Like I just think I had to try out different things and explore different options. But if all I did was be like, well, this is the planner that you get from the store, and therefore, if I can't use it, then I just suck at planning and I can't do it, and it's never going to happen for me. And like, I just tried different stuff, and I was like, I never would have thought. I never would have thought like having everything in one book would be for me. But anyway, I just think like there's so many different ways in our lives that if you just tried something that you weren't sure of, you might see like the most amazing result. I actually sent this I sent this video to Brittany the other day and I was like, "Wait, I just sent this video." And it literally says, "I just read a quote that said, I haven't felt like myself lately. I must be growing." And I thought, what a wonderful way to look at an uncomfortable season. And like it's so true. And like I said, you have your own instincts. So you know when, you know, you're like I actually am reading a book and it's like sometimes when you're feeling those spidey senses of like anxiety, sometimes it's like something telling you like you need to like pivot and like switch it up or whatever. But like sometimes you are going to feel that uncomfortable feeling, especially like when working out. I mean, I don't love working out. It's hard. I like sweat and I'm like, oh, it's heavy. But I've seen progress this year from just being consistent, and it's not always fun, and sometimes it's like mundane things that get us to the next level and like push us further. So sometimes it's like, oh, this is so boring, or like do the same thing every day, eat the same thing all the time, like whatever. And you can switch it up, but sometimes it's just like that it's that consistency that can take you like to crazy places, and we just don't want to do it because it just seems like it's uncomfortable, like it's boring.
I think so many times. Okay, so there's so many things. Wait, I feel like there's like two other things I wanted to talk about based on what you said, and then I want to say something based on what you just said too. But I wanted to say, do you know when you're falling asleep, you ever get like that twitch or like that itch? That's your body trying to say like you're almost there and it's like trying to release that tension. I feel like that's the same thing almost. Like your body naturally does that. So like I think it's like that's a natural thing when you're getting so close to the point you want to be at, you have to
Yep.
release like those other like the itch or like that, like whatever it is, that feeling, right? I think also I want you to expand too on how you got to the point of how do I pull out a notebook and just do it this way, right? Because that's right there is a process that is part of it, and I think that isn't talked about enough, right? We're going from A to Z, but we need to talk about that process too. I think
Yeah.
that is so important is
Yeah.
that process. Like, okay, and I think so many times it's being your own cheerleader, like knowing like it's okay if it's not perfect. It's knowing like it's okay if like this didn't work out this time, let me try something else, right? It's okay to invest in different things to get to the result you're looking for because you are your own person. And so your result is going to be different than the person. So like obviously like you were saying, like the planner in the store might not work for you because it doesn't work for everyone because you're not the person, you're not the
Yeah.
person who made
Everyone's
it.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brains are different. So there's something else I wanted to say, but I think those are the three things in my brain that are sticky note.
You know what I was thinking about when you were saying you kind of like got to push past that point? When I used to run, I do not run anymore, but never say never, but it just, I ran 2 half marathons, but I remember like when I first would, every single time, even like when I was used to running long distance, whenever I would start my run, I was not happy. Like I was like, this, like, I don't like it at all. Every single time, doesn't matter like how long I had been running. And I don't remember how long into it took, like not super long, but eventually you just get to this place when you've been training for a while and you just like all of a sudden like, oh no, I feel great. Like, wow, like this feels like I'm walking right now. But like you had to like push past. And I felt like that every time. I don't know if it's normal or not, but like every single time I ran, I had to push past this like certain point, and then I'd be like, oh, look at me, like I'm great, like I could go forever, like so
Yes.
that's life, that's everything in life,
I
like
feel like it's like
everything is
that
that way.
boost of confidence. Like, I don't know, I know what you mean, but I feel like as a mother, as a childcare provider, like when you're trying to like figure out your child's schedule, especially when they're younger, and
Mm.
like there's like one part of the day, and I know we all have that, like you're just like, there's one part of the day that just gets chaotic, and you're like, you're starting to like figure out, okay, what's the best way to approach this? Is it like maybe I need to prep something ahead of time? Do I need to do it this way? And then finally it goes smooth. Like you've tried 50,000 things, right? Because again, this all happens to us. And then all of a sudden it goes smooth and you're like, I can do anything. I'm amazing. Like, you know what I mean? And then you feel confident. You're like, okay, well, we did this. I accomplished this now with my
Yeah.
child. What can I figure out next? And it's so like, it's that confident boost you get when you keep trying. I think sometimes it's your mindset though. It's not, we're never gonna get for this. Oh, my child's terrible. Like, I can't believe my child is acting out like this. I can't believe this, that, and the third. Like that negative mindset is not gonna suit anyone, and your day is just gonna be negative the rest of the day. Like if you put out negative energy, you're asking for more negative energy to come back to you. Like negative and negative create negative. Like it is what it is. And I think instead, okay, well, this isn't working. What will work better? Is it my tone of voice? Is it maybe my child doesn't understand? Maybe there's a something my child needs that they're not able to express, right? And how can I, maybe it's my fault, like maybe I'm not understanding the schedule, like maybe I think my child is hungry, at this time, but they're really hungry like 20 minutes earlier. So the time that I'm feeding them, they're freaking out, and that's why, right? Like there's so much to it. But if you don't do that research and you don't have that open mind, like maybe it's something else I can be doing. And I think that's something you always have to like go in with, like being like a detective, like, okay, like this is great in the moment. And I think it's like live in the moment, but then how can I always make this better? Like, can I add to it, right? Okay, like this is level one. Level one can be like me and my child worked on a workbook today, right? I keep going back to my child, but like,
You're a mom,
I,
so.
yeah, it's like the perfect example for me. But like, for example, like you got a workbook from like the store, like a kindergarten workbook. You're like, me and my child worked on a workbook today. Level one, all right? Level two can be like, I created a lesson by taking different, by adding a TV show based on it. We're learning about adding. So I found a lesson for a TV show, right? And we're going to talk about it afterwards. Level three can be like, I created a whole game, right? Like there's levels, right? Like, and it's okay if you're on level one, and it's okay, right? And that is okay. It is okay if that's all you can do and you feel like that is enough because maybe this is something where you don't believe there has to be more. And that's okay too. We're going to find that not every, like where I find there might be need to be more done, you might find there's not anything else to be done. And that's just what we preference. That's what we were taught. That is our, what's that word that we've been talking about in that book that we read with Bob? The paradigm. That is our
I was
paradigm.
just gonna mention the book, keep going.
Got you, girl.
I freaking love that book so much. I need to get back into it. I think I'm like at 5 times like listening to it this year so far. But no, because I was thinking about like he talks in there about desire and like your desire for
Mhm.
more, and so the interviewer was asking him, "Do you think anyone can do anything?" And he's like, "Well, it depends because it depends on your desire. Like if you don't have like the abilities and capabilities to like go be a pro football player, right? Like that's never something that I've been like, oh yeah, I want to go be a pro football player. Like I'm short, I'm a female, like all these things, right? So like that's just not something that I desire that, so I won't go after it. But if I have a true desire, and so it's my desire, it's not like my husband's desire, my family's desire, my kids' desire, like it truly is yours. You can do absolutely anything that you want. And they were talking about money specifically at one point, and they were like, could anyone have the amount of money that Jeff Bezos has? And the guy's like, well, not everyone's going to want that amount of money. Like, that's not going to be so. Yeah, you can go have a few million. Sure, anyone can do that. But like, not everyone's going to want that amount of money. And they're not everyone's going to need that amount of money. So, like you're saying, like, there's no limit, but also, like, you're only going to have a certain desire for a certain amount of
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that'll change over time too. Like maybe you got to $1 million and you were like, well, I want two, and then you go up. So it does change like that too. But I love that book so much. I highly recommend that book to anyone. It's not just about money. That was just like one small example, but like the entire book is just so good.
Feel like besides the desire, I think people don't know like it exists. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, how do you become so delusional that you're starting to desire a dream that you have never even managed to get close to in your life?
Yeah.
How? Simply, how? How do you do that? Like, how? And it's really truly believing what is should be yours will be yours. And I think it's believing that the path you should be on will be on. And that means that you then have to show up in a different way. And I think and I know when we're talking about this, it sounds like it's just a perfect world. Like, I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to have like, no, it's okay to feel like I can't accomplish this day. Right? It's okay. These are normal feelings. But this means that you need to start logging these thoughts, right? Like logging your thoughts and thinking like, and this is why Jackie journals, right? These are why I sit there and I like pay attention to what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm trying to do XYZ on a Wednesday, but every time on a Wednesday, I start feeling this like feeling, do maybe it's not a best day to accomplish XYZ that I'm trying to accomplish because every Wednesday I'm feeling the same feeling. Maybe I need to honor my feelings on Wednesday and say, this is a day I need to take time to myself, and maybe I need to wash my hair and have that everything shower, right? Like I need to recharge my energy on that day instead. Right. And I think so many times we think that we have to just continue, continue, continue because we made up this thought, right? We're the ones that plan our life. We're the ones that plan our day. Like the only things that we're really like responsible for are like the things that have time schedules, right?
Yeah. In the book, he talks about goals, like goal setting. And I just really appreciated this because whenever I've set a goal, it's been like a big goal, but also could be attainable, if that makes sense. So he talks about, and don't quote me because I did not write any of this down. This is just coming from the top of my head from listening to the book a bunch of times. But type A goals were more like goals that were relatively achievable. Like it would take some work, but like, and maybe a little bit of resources, but like you could make it happen. Type B goal was like even further than that, where like it would definitely take like some time and effort, but like it could be, he used the example of like this guy wanted a car and he's like, but he already like had that same type of car. And he's like, well, you already know how to get the car because you've already bought one of those cars. So that's not like, the type C goal. And the type C goal is like a goal that you have no idea how it is so far out there that you're like, this seems almost impossible. Like I have no idea how this will ever happen. And so I took that and I made a type C goal for our podcast. And I try to rewrite it 3 times every day. That's what he does. I'm not always the best at it, but I rewrite it every and that can seem, I think, to some people like discouraging, and I can see that because the goal that I put down is something that is like very far in the future, or at least I think it is. Like who knows, like the universe aligns, but it's things that are very, very big that we are currently not anywhere close to. And I just think for life, like that can be so exciting if you look at it in the right way. I know some people will be like, well, it's so discouraging because it's so far away, but it's like you have a long life to live. Like let's just pretend like you're going to be here longer than just tomorrow. Like what do you really want in the next 10, 20 years? Like what do you really want? It doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. Like you don't even have to tell anyone, right? The people who I don't know, invented anything smart, anything big, electricity, like they thought those people were crazy too. Like, what do you mean you're gonna like make electricity? What do you mean you're gonna fly an airplane in the air? You know, like that just seemed crazy.
I mean, all the research they did, like, we have no idea, like, how many, at nights they spend in the lab, like, how dedicated they were to that dream and that
How many
desire.
people told them that they were probably ridiculous for even trying? Yeah.
Oh my God. I've had teachers when I was like in high school, middle school, and like elementary that told me I would never graduate high school. Like, I was like, that's cool. I graduated high school.
What good teachers they are.
Like,
Oh my
what?
God.
But I think, that's what happens too. People limit other people. Like,
Yeah,
instead, like, that's a good
absolutely.
top, instead we have to hold each other's hand and we need to
Mhm.
be like, those are the topics, last week we talked about like not gossiping and friendships. Like, those are the topics we're talking about. Like, you should be having with your friends. Like, what are things you desire? What are things you dreamed about? Like, I had a friend the other day, I was talking to her. She doesn't have children or anything yet. I was just saying, like, it's crazy, like, how, this last year of motherhood, like, flew by, so fast. Like, everything that happened before like the first year, like of motherhood, like was a whole nother lifetime ago. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I don't know how I got into it. And I asked her, I said, do you dream of having kids one day? Is that one of your dreams? Like, I know that sounds so weird, but like, I actually just asked her, I was like, hey, is that one of your dreams one day? Like, I have no idea. And like, I think those are the conversations we should be having with people because people don't realize that there's more sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's like people need instructions. People need a book. We need a library. We need more. To know there's more, we need to know there's more, right? We need to know that's possible, right? We need to know that is like an option, right? Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't know if you
Inspire
didn't
others.
know, right? And so sometimes it's then how do you help your friends? How do you help your family? And it's having these conversations. Jackie, what do you dream about? Jackie, where do you see yourself in 3 years, right? Where do you see you and your family going on vacation next summer? Right?
Yeah.
Like it's having those conversations with your friends, and it could be different topics. It could be also like, what are you thinking about? Okay, like I'm thinking, me and Matt were talking about like vacations and paying off bills and all these other things, right? And we're like, okay, like this is just for next year's dreams, right? But where is this on the bucket list, right? Are there things that we want to do that are more important? Right. And then do we even have that bucket list? Right. And then it builds and it builds and it builds. And then it then goes to, do you make time for yourself to dream?
Yeah. And you going after your goals and dreams and things like that can really inspire others. Like, you can't force someone to want to do something, you can't force them to change.
Mhm.
But if they see you changing and they see you doing amazing things, they might be like, wow, like they did that. Maybe I can do that too. Not,
Yeah.
and I always talk about weight loss just because I'm like, in like health mode this year. But I love watching people's transformations. I'm like, oh my gosh, I looked like that. I can look like that, like of course I can, but sometimes it's just being inspired by someone else in that way. Simultaneously, I will say, just make sure that you're telling your dreams to the right people, because some people, and that's a whole other topic, but some people won't understand and they have their own limitations and they might start putting their limitations on you, and you don't need that either. But, if you're telling the right people, then you can totally inspire others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think, and this is why we fall into this like comfort trap is because we don't know that there is even a desire to have more because we don't know it exists, right?
Yeah.
And, we might not have the right crowd of people that are cheering us on. We
Mhm.
might not know how to get to where we want to be, right? There's so much, again, it's part of that process of like, how do literally it starts from even realizing that you can have more, right?
Yeah.
So this is like a really deep, like far out process, right?
Yeah.
And then you can have this like goal and this dream written down. You can put it places and you could say it 1,000 times. But if you're not putting into actions, right, then it's just a dream.
Right.
What is keeping you motivated? So
Yeah.
then you're still trapped in the comfort trap because you're just in the dream process. So
That's
then it's stating, how do I now take this dream and what is the first step to get there? Is it then maybe, and a lot of times I say, and I always say this because it's just who I am, is research, 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 research. If you start researching it and you start seeing that it's possible, then you're more willing to push for it. You're more willing to have it in your brain, like, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, because you're seeing maybe other people through vlogs, maybe you're listening to podcasts, maybe you're at the library reading books about it, right? You're like, wow. And you're starting imagining yourself there. Like, you're like, for example, it's like if you're dreaming about going to Japan, right? You start thinking about like yourself, in your Fuji Mountain and taking pictures of Fuji Mountain, right? You start thinking about yourself and like what outfits you're going to wear to Disney Sea, right? You start thinking about these things and then it starts feeling real. And
Mhm.
that's when you know you're out of that comfort trap, when things start feeling real, when
Yeah.
things start feeling alive. And then I don't know, it's like almost like an anxiety feeling too, because you're like I can't, like I don't know what to do now, right?
Yeah.
And that feeling is scary and that feeling is hard, but you need to keep going because you don't want to fall back in that comfort trap of just dreaming. So, again, no matter where you are, wherever you are, in whatever situation, whatever it is, it could be something little as reading more books. It could be something big as taking your family, paying off your next family vacation through content creation. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's a small dream, a big dream. It doesn't matter if it's literally just show up to carpool 10 minutes earlier. Literally does not matter if it's about you, whatever it is, but if it's about your behaviors, about your schedule, about your daily day life, then it is about you. And you need to get out of that comfort trap of it just is what it is. Because yes, it is what it is sometimes, but not everything is what it is because sometimes we do have a desire for more and we need to find that desire.
And like you said, sometimes you don't know, like you have a goal and you're like, I don't even know where to start. And that visualization really is helpful because the more that energy that you put towards something that you want, even if, and you don't want to stay in the dream space for sure, but the more energy that you put, and almost like, I think some people get caught up in, oh my gosh, what if I'm putting energy towards the wrong things? As long as it's towards your goal in some sort of way. Ashley and I talked about this like the other day too. We used to always talk about this. Like, as long as you're putting in effort, it will all come together. You don't always know how it's going to come together. It might not come together like you thought it would come together. Like it'll probably be even better. But as long as you're putting in some sort of effort towards whatever it is, it's eventually going to happen. It's just the hardest part is you don't know when and you don't know how, and you're not supposed to know when or how. Like that's not up to you. And so it's just like being patient and going through the process, which is
Yeah.
always the hardest thing.
It's also scary to think like, well, what if I fail, right? Like what if I do go after this thing I'm desiring, I'm dreaming because I am trying to get out of the comfort trap. And now what if I fail and then I get stuck back where I am? Well, failure is what you think is failure. If you believe you failed, then you failed. But if you believe that this was just a lesson and that this was just a little stepping stone or a puddle or whatever you want to look at it, and that this is just going to push you further and further to where you need to go, then you'll be fine. It's just how you look at it. This is your perspective, and it's hard to believe that you might fail. But if you hit a rock bottom in your eyes, it's okay. You will move on. It might take time, but it's okay. It's normal.
I think failure is also associated with a certain amount of time. Like people put a time limit on things and then they're like, oh, that didn't work. I failed. Or, oh, that business that like I created failed, and it's like, you're not at the end. How do you know that you failed when you're not at
Mhm.
the end? You're the one creating the end. You're the one that's creating the time limit. You don't know because you haven't lived your future life. How do you know that
Yeah.
you failed? You're failing like you think you're failing right now. You still got more time. Like just,
I
yeah.
think I think too, like the world sometimes tells you what you need. So even if you keep pushing something back, it's going to keep showing up because the world needs you to learn something from something. Like my biggest example, and I always go back to this, but when I was trying to work for Disney, I was trying to do children's activities for like 3 years, it felt like, or whatever it was. Like I think I tried starting in 2019. I didn't start until like 2022. So it was like 3 years almost 2.5, whatever it was. And I could have like given up. I could have not went to the interview for lifeguarding again. I could have not did this other, I could have like not like done all whatever. Like this is a long story, but anywho, there's a lot of steps, right? But I could have just like kept just being like, I don't want it. I don't want it. But the world just kept giving me opportunities to try for it. Like literally Disney called me to interview. There was an ad that popped up literally on Facebook for children's activities, like to apply for it. Like the world kept telling me that I need to go try this thing. And if I didn't try that, I wouldn't have had the experiences I had. Right. And sometimes we don't know what these experiences are going to be. And sometimes these experiences in the moment are terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let's be honest. Like some experiences are just what they are and absolutely terrible. But guess what? There is a lesson in everything that felt terrible. There is a lesson in everything that felt like it was a failure. And because
Yep.
there's a lesson, that means that you are now stronger, you are now braver, you have more confidence, you are someone better, you have accomplished a new level, you've accomplished a new skill. And that right there is why you push yourself out of that comfort zone and you just accept that sometimes it takes trial and error, but you are amazing and you can do these things and you can push forward. And that is why it is so important to never feel that it is okay to settle when something doesn't feel right.
Amen.
I think this was a good one. I think we put it full circle. We are going to say goodbye here. We will see you next Wednesday. Every Wednesday we are here with our chit chats, just talking about life. And we absolutely love that we get to do this with you every Wednesday. If you would like to connect with us, we have a Facebook group where we're talking a little bit more. We also have our Instagram, we are on TikTok, we have our own personal social medias, and we have so much coming out. We have so much we desire and we dream of that we do not want to fall in this comfort trap. We have dreams of creating this podcast and bringing this podcast to 100 episodes plus. Like, we're not done after 100. We're right now, our goal is 100, and then we're going to 200, and then our goal is 300, right? Like, we're not stopping, right? And that comes with other stuff that, we're working on what we're bringing for the next season. And so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.